morning, folks. Today is Wednesday, bright and early in the morning. This is a TFS soap from the Pinup collection, and it smells quite nice. I'll have the scent description down below. That way you don't have to trust my nose. But this is pretty nice. The scent is really nice. It comes in three. There's three of them, in other words. Good morning. Got the alum block without the rubber band. Unscented witch hazel that's mentholated. Decided I would follow up with this shave with fine platinum. And off camera I'm still using the Shaven Sailor Beard oil. Shaver of the day is a Schick G8. There's a number of them in the G model. You can kind of tell it's got ribs down through here. It'll look similar to a Hydromatic. Pretty nice looking shaver. I've got it whipped up here on the wet side with a Preshave brush. This came by the way of Facebook group Shave at World. We had a group brush, and that's what it looks like there on the bottom. This is aluminum. It's a pretty nice brush. Got it whipped up here in the bowl. I have got plenty of lather. Just having fun, just whipping it up this morning. Already put a hot towel to the face this morning. We'll get started with the pre-shave, and it is getting a little bit thinner. It's a little thicker on one side than the other, but it is getting smaller. I guess I should have been keeping track how long I've been using this pre-shave. It's seen quite a bit of action. Excuse me. There's one thing I probably should point out when it comes to trying to figure out what kind of Schick injector you have, especially when you're trying to date it. One way of doing it is probably trying to run down the patent numbers. That's what I was thinking of. I think I stayed up a little too late last night. My son and I, my wife, we were all talking. We here recently, my son got back his information from 23andMe. It's dealing with DNA, and he got some information back yesterday where we were all talking about what all he had found out, and some of what I was already kind of sort of aware of, but I was only able to go back as far as back to the early 1800s on our family tree. And I knew that some of our ancestors had came by the way of came to Oklahoma by the way of Canada, believe it or not. And but I was unable to trace everybody back. It started running into roadblocks. And with 23andMe, based on a lot of information in your DNA and whatnot, they give you an idea where you may have came from, as well as anybody else that might be in the tree that has submitted their DNA. And of course, I already was fairly certain. In other words, United Kingdom, that's where the bulk of our DNA came from, as well as France and Germany. It's interesting when you do stuff like that, finding out where your ancestors come from. It's kind of like the vintage shaver here. Some of them, when I get them and they're such in great shape, it makes you wonder the previous owner like it, or they just had so many shavers that it just didn't appear to get very much action? Or are they just that well made? I tell you what though, this is a pretty good shaver. I enjoy shaving with them. I get good shaves with them. It's the history that makes it really interesting to me. These shavers have been around for a long time. I think the time span on these range from, is it 45 to 55 for the G's? E's I think it's 35 to 45. Some of these you can probably narrow it down even further, especially with the patent dates and whatnot. This is really good shaving cream. Man, the scent, I can smell it. The pinup collection comes in a trio, and they come in small containers, so you can see. Unless you get them on sale, Time Barber usually sells them for the right around the $10 mark, and I think maybe all three of them might be sold out right now. So it's kind of, when you see them, you might want to get them type thing. I'm wanting to say it's about 2.5 ounces, 75 milliliters. I thought it was right around the 2 ounce mark. It is really a pleasant scent. When I first saw them, I just knew for no other reason, just excuse me, just for the sticker alone, the label. You don't see very many shaving soaps that are set up like this one was. He does mention in there about the thought process about using the ladies on the front. And depending on where you're at geographically and what your thoughts are and whatnot, I can remember, seemed like no matter where you went in the way of a garage, you always had those kind of calendars up in the garage. You'd see them. Some people might be offended from it. Some looked at it in a different way, and this is what was mentioned online about just appreciation for the beauty. Just like the scent, in my opinion, because this scent is really nice. It's the reason why I followed up with Fine Platinum. I was looking back on my previous shaves, and I used Aramis, so kind of see where I'm coming from on that sort of thing. I didn't have an aftershave to match, but I thought it would be an aftershave that should be used with the soap. Just my point of view. I do have a little bit of color in the background today. I noticed I forgot to take the towels down. We stayed up pretty late. Late for me. 11 o'clock's late for me when you get up at 4 in the morning. Sometimes an hour of sleep makes a big difference. Yeah, it was kind of funny. On 23andMe, I should mention, it says, the way they word it is, it says Great Britain and Ireland. I don't know why they have it separated out like that. It's far as my parents go, is the way I understand it, I think Scotland is where I think they've got it narrowed down. I wasn't able to find that information myself, but I think my parents ran down some information that I was unable to get. Well, this is pretty smooth. Got that one little strip right there. It's just a little one. It's too bad that the I was having problems with the memory on the Shavette shave with the Irving Barber IBC Shavette, because that really was a good shave. Even though I tried to start it up twice, it was really a good shave. 2-pass shave, and my 2-pass shave is just as good as the 3-pass shave with the Schick. That's the reason why I really enjoy, another reason why I enjoy the Shavette shaves, besides the fact that getting that kind of shave with a Shavette, get a lot of satisfaction with that. A lot of satisfaction. It is something I wasn't too sure I was going to be able to, how you say, master, but the more I kept on watching the videos, kept on watching them, like I said, my my technique of watching was probably a little bit different than some. I watch them with the sound off. I was really interested in, focusing on the technique, trying to visualize me going through the same thing. What kind of pressure was I using, watching the angle, how a person held the shavette or straight razor. You'll notice that everybody has their own little technique, and you take little bits here and there from the shave, and then apply what works for you. It's just like with anything else. How wet do you whip up your shaving cream? Your mileage may vary. Really depends on the individual. This shaving cream is really, when it comes to post-shave, with the post-shave feel with this shaving cream, my face feels pretty good. It is nice and soft. Love it when it's like that. In some ways, I guess you might say I kind of miss shaving with some of these injectors, single edges. I spend most of my week shaving with a shavette, and it does get to that point where I do miss shaving with them. Because usually the routine is, through the week, Monday through Friday I'm shaving with the shavette. Saturday's single edge, Sunday's a double edge. That's usually the routine, unless I'm got something new in that I'm trying to get a good idea of what the shave is like with it. Because for me, sometimes a good week of shaving with a new shaver is best for me. Sometimes it just takes that long for me just to get the technique down. Sure, I might get my first shave in without any nicks, cuts, weepers, or anything like that, but I don't have a real good feel on how is the shaver. The blade that I chose, is it a good matchup? Do I think I can find a better matchup in between the shaver and the blade? The cooling effect is just awesome. I love it. Still cooling. Still haven't quite figured out what's going on with the sound on my my recordings. I think it has part to do with the upload. Reason why the volume drops off, because I noticed in some other shaves from other shavers that they're experiencing the same thing, that the sound maybe kind of seems like it's low than the same person in another video where the sound comes up. It's hard to say for sure. So what the restrictor looks like, if you need to know. Such a great aftershave. I had got my dad a bottle of this. He really liked it. I don't know if he's got any left or not. I know he was using it as his daily driver. My face feels really good. Had just a little bit of stinging back over here, oddly enough. Not this side, but this side. The bathroom smells great this morning. Had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Once again, here's the shaver. Type G 8. It's got the ribs along through here. There is a seam down through the center, but overall a pretty good looking shaver. On the underside here, if you're wondering what it says, it says Ever Sharp Schick. You'll notice that verbiage, that wording, it'll change from shaver to shaver. Some of them will just say Schick Injector. It just depends on where you're at on what shaver you got, but just a lot of history here, considering how old these shavers are, and they still shave just fine. A lot of history there. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.